What's up, Internet? Here we are once again in Pokemon having an adventure. Last week, I was really bloody tired moving half a warehouse worth of office supplies, very heavy office equipment downstairs all day, so we went through a burnt building because that's what you do to celebrate that and the end of your job. We got a key to this gym, so we're gonna go deal with the gym. Now, this gym is pretty interesting in the sense you don't actually have to do any of the fights in the gym except for the main gym leader, I believe. Or was that the Pokemon Silver one? I can't remember. It might be this one. I think I did this wrong, but it might be Pokemon Silver. Can't quite remember, but one of these versions of this gym, it's just a quiz, and you have to walk through, and you can skip all the fights. But then you miss out on the delicious experience, and you don't want to do that. You want the experience because if you don't level up, you will get smashed very quickly. Now this is a fire gym, which makes me laugh because I've got a fire type that has a ground move, and I also have a water type that has a water move. So I'm really tempted here just to use Laggy and just surf my way through the entire fight, because surf rats, they are horribly deadly things if you're a fire Pokemon trainer. But this gym is not really all that hard. It's just fire types, and fire types are powerful, but again, when you commit to a single element, you make yourself really prone to getting completely destroyed by singular attacks. I like Ninetales, that's a neat monster. Not available in this game. Instead we get Growlithe, which I think is vastly inferior. I actually really like the Ice Ninetales, that's a cool monster as well. I used one when I played Pokemon Sun. That was one of my teammates, was Ice Ninetales, because I thought that was a cool monster. I guess we're gonna find out if this is that gym and I just messed up or not. Because I think this thing right here might be the thing, or again, that might be another Pokemon game. I'm not sure, so let's find out. Yeah, Pokemon quiz. No, there's 8. Now, congratulations, we can skip this trainer, but we're not going to do that because, again, why would we? We don't want that. We want to get as much delicious experience as we possibly can. I'm assuming I've seen my Charizard melt the faces of enemies once or twice, so pretty hot, I would think. But yeah, I think we're just going to use 2 monsters for this entire gym, and that'll make something of an experience dent out of the rest of our team, but conversely, this also means we won't need to have to deal with leveling them individually later. Comparatively, anyway. And given that we're going to a place where we're going to have to at least knock out one member of our team temporarily, it doesn't hurt my feelings that we might have one monster that's a little bit further ahead than the rest. But, again, fire monsters. This is about the time where your starter fire monster stops being useful if you picked a starter fire. You have trouble with the first 2 gyms, and then this fire one, and then the rest are pretty much cake. Conversely, if you picked a Squirtle, this is the second time that Squirtle's actually useful in a gym fight. And once again, if you picked Bulbasaur, well, you got the first 2 gyms, and that's about it. And again, you can teach your fire monster Dig. I think you can teach it Earthquake as well. I've never actually tried, but you can just use your Charizard to completely wipe this entire gym off the face of the earth. But this is also a very good point to point out, once again, that for an HM, using Surf is actually a ridiculously good move in this game. In fact, it is, I want to say, the second most powerful water move next to Hydro Pump, which I don't even think there's a HM for, or a TM for in this game. I think that's just purely learned by a very specific few monsters, such as, well, Blastoise is the only one I can think of offhand. I think maybe Cloyster learns it as well, but that's just speculation on my part. But we're just gonna level Logi, I guess, until Logi can't fight, then swap to Flammy. But not much has happened in the past week. Again, I'm doing this literally about the time I should make my videos for the week go live, so I'm still really far behind. But at the same time, I'm trying to figure out streaming. I just learned yesterday about the fact that the device defaults I've been streaming with aren't super good for displays, which I noticed it looked a little bad on playback, but I figured that was just to save resources while it was streaming. Because I've had recording devices that do that, like it'll record your footage and it'll record fine, but it'll look lower quality just to make the actual process of recording while in use a little bit easier, but no, it just doesn't look quite right, so I set up the aspect ratio to 1080p, so it should work a little better. It might make streaming it a little bit more processor intensive. I'm gonna pretend I know what I'm talking about, I'm just learning this all as I go. Let's do the Pokemon quiz, just to show what a Pokemon master we are. If you want to conserve your Pokemon, do the quiz right. Poliwag evolves 3 times. That's actually true. But it wasn't true at the time because it goes Poliwag to Poliwrath, or to Poliwhirl, then Poliwrath, and then it could have gone to Politoed from Poliwhirl as well, so yes, it could evolve 3 times. However, Politoed was introduced in the next game, so that is actually retroactively correct, but in this game it won't count it. So I am very much the very best, like no one ever was, unlike this game, which gets it wrong. And we're just going to keep fighting these guys for the delicious experience. Because experience points are important in an RPG. Burglar. You know, I'm not gonna lie, when I first read that, I read that as Bagular, which was the, I want to say, giant bird villain of Bomberman Hero, or that might be the main villain for half the Bomberman series, I can't quite remember, but I remember Bagular being a boss from Bomberman. I should really know that. I have to do a Bomberman Let's Play again this year, like I do every year. I still have to get the game too. That's that'll be the first time I have to do a Bomber Week where I don't actually have the game in advance. I think they've released a little bit more news on Pokemon Let's Go. I was just looking that up before I came here. Also, what specifically is the requirement to get Wurmple to evolve into one of 2 things? And apparently it's basically random. It's predetermined, but it's random what you'll get. And I've never had a Wurmple evolve into a Silcoon. It's always a Cascoon. No. They are the opposite of effective against ground types. Fight me. I know Ibelane became a trainer too. If we're going by the rules of the Pokemon Adventure manga, which we should be, because, I mean, this whole Let's Play is a tie-in posthumously, or retroactively rather. Blaine became a trainer because he was muscled into it by Team Rocket, who he was an unwitting member of, and also the guy responsible for Mewtwo's existence. And also, he has a physical connection to Mewtwo because he mixed his DNA with that to make it work better, I guess. Go read the manga. It's genuinely good and also very, very kind of mature and dark for the time. Genuinely loving it. At least up till Diamond Pearl, but, I mean, to be fair, Diamond Pearl sucked in general. Nice work, Logi. Now, I don't think we have any ethers, so we're going to go heal up just so we can get more PP so we can fight these guys better. Actually, you know what? Screw it. We could just use Flammy. Because Dig should be effective against fire types, because if you don't have water, you pour sand on your campfire to put it out. As Smokey the Bear taught us. Well, not me, I'm Canadian. We never got those ads, but he taught Americans that. Okay, what's the quiz? Pokemon of the same kind and level are not identical. Okay, that feels like that's a double negative, but I'm going to say that's true because individual values and effort values, while not expressed in this game, do exist. They're just not really told to the player. It was just a matter of trying to puzzle through what they meant grammatically there. The one where you don't have to fight any of the actual gym trainers is your favorite gym. I can see why, given that you're a skeevy thief. I don't know, I'm thinking about getting Let's Go Pokemon Eevee, obviously, because screw Pikachu. It'll be 20 years, but I'm finally going to get my starter Eevee for Pokemon Yellow. I think it's weird, though, because I just read there's not going to be, like, any actual functional battle system for enemy monsters. It's just a catch system. And this is coming from a guy who couldn't play Pokemon Go because his phone was too old, that the moment he started it up, it immediately went from 100% battery to crashed and no battery, but it seems weird to me that there's not going to be any actual, like, functional monster battles with wild monsters. That just seems like an important integral part for building up levels if you need them. I mean, it's hardly necessary in these games. They tend to be very, very easy, but still. I mean, especially in Gen 1. I mean, the first time we ran into Phaphimon, he had like 10 levels on us. And Brock, that's like a 5-level jump over where you're supposed to be as well. And I mean, let's just be honest, the final boss of this game, of the actual story anyway, if I recall, that's like 15 levels above the fight you do just before him. Okay, Tombstoner is not an attack, so no. I remember that line too. Because I remember thinking, Tombstoner is not an attack, but it absolutely should be, because that sounds like a wicked attack. Just dropping a bunch of tombstones on your opponent or something. Come on, that'd be cool. Actually, I think that was an attack. It didn't use that name. It was like Rock Tomb or something. But, basically the same attack. Now again, we are just steamrolling this entire gym based on 2 attacks. Hell, I could do it on 1 if I went and charged up my PP again. But this is not exactly challenging. But to be fair, I think this gym wasn't supposed to be, given that you can skip all the fights. I don't think you can skip Blaine, though. Can we answer quizzes here? I don't think so. No quizzes for the final gym leader. Did you actually complete all the quizzes? Because you're a fool for skipping out on the experience. Oh, you actually fought them. Well, then you're a fool for getting all the quiz answers wrong. I'm smarter than you either way. But I have more hair than you, Blaine. Some say too much. Okay, I'm just gonna dig. One. Okay, that's a crit. I can't count that as a one-hit KO. I want to think that it's the final boss of this game, who, if you're going at sort of what you should be for levels when you go up against him, he's going to massively overpower you. I think he's sort of responsible for the whole mentality of Pokemon training and online battling nowadays, where every turn, if you're doing an attack that damages your opponent, it has to take them out in one turn. Because he was just so high-leveled, so powerful, that you basically had to one-hit KO every single monster of his, or you were in trouble. Again, it's been forever since I fought him, but I remember him being kind of ridiculously over-leveled compared to where you should be. And, I mean, it's all fair that the final boss is a challenge, okay, but there's a difference between challenge and just artificially ramping up levels just for the sake of being difficult. Although, that said, I mean, Blaine is hardly a challenge. Nice thing about this, however, that was an effective use of a super potion. I like that sprite of Arcanine. That just looks both very, very powerful and very, very noble. I like that. But, okay, now see, that's a good use of a super potion. Bravo, Blaine. But you're dead. Not an effective enough use of a super potion. And now we get Fire Blast, which, again, there should be a space in that name for the badge. But more importantly, we get TM38, which contains Fire Blast. So theoretically, Charmeleon, screw off, I'm using it on Charizard. It's basically Flamethrower, except it does more damage, but it has a marginally less likelihood of hitting. I think it's like 80% versus 100%. Hey, Bryant can learn this. Eskin Logi. Wow, that's impressive, seeing as Logi's still more or less a water type. Yes. Now, I like Body Slam for normal attacks. I like Seismic Toss. Give me some variance. We'll get rid of Swords Dance, because honestly, if we have time to Swords Dance, we're probably going to get smashed. And that's how we clear out the penultimate dungeon. Hardly a challenge, but then again, it's basically designed to be a quiz to see if you know your Pokemon shit. Which, I mean, we didn't even have to do that. I wonder how many people actually, like, don't know that there's actual quizzes to be taken here. I imagine there's got to be at least a few. Okay, and now we have to fly to go to the final gym. Because we've done everything else up to this point. Because Gen 1 Pokemon was kind of light in content. I mean, you could go and catch every monster, sure, but if you're just following the plot, it was basically get up to Fuchsia City, then you've got 2 bonus dungeons you can go through, and then it's finish the story, and then you get 1 more bonus dungeon. And that was really about it. Again, aside from catching every monster. Oh. Wait a minute. Why is the sprite for this rock right here different than the rest? Why is that? There must be some sort of secret to that rock. This one has it too. I mean, this one looks different, but sprite's cut by this house. It's the magical man of glitching the game. And his twin brother, the guy who stands by the gym and tells you the gym leader's not in. Except he is now. Okay, this is the final gym. I believe it is Earth Element, so Static Cling is not going to do much good here. We could use Zephyr, though. At least for a little bit. And congratulations, we have more of these terrible tiles of annoyingness. And like before, we can't actually see where they end. Again, what is with the animal cruelty in old school Pokemon? When I was a kid, I thought those, like, eyes on its chest were, like, flames. But no, it's just like a, intimidating face type thing. Bite. Honestly, I don't really aspire to use Zephyr all the way through here, but he's a little lower than the rest of our monsters, so we kind of have to build him up a little bit. Although I think by the end, as much as I like my Pidgeot, he will probably be the weak link of the team. That or Saitama. But they're kind of the B team at this point. Tauros. Tauros is actually a ridiculously powerful monster in the first game. But he's a Safari Zone monster, and he's ridiculously rare, and also stupid hard to catch when he does show up. I'm just gonna keep flying because it's our best move. Bird types. Not exactly the best moveset ever. Unless you use one of like the legendary birds. Which, I mean, there's value in it given the fact that they're like 20 levels above where you're probably going to encounter them at. But still, it's not exactly great. Well, Zephyr's got problems. We'll swap to Saitama. Because he needs some experience too. Defense fell. That's a problem. But not a big enough problem because Fire Punch. Wow, I really thought that would do a little more. Ice Punch! There we go. And we defeated the Tamer. That's not what whiplash means, guy. Do we have a anti-paralysis thing? We got a full restore, but I don't want to use it. What the hell, we'll use the max potion. Clear up our inventory a little bit. Because inventory management, it's a thing in this game. I think we'd have to fight this guy either way. Is it though? Is it really? Because I've heard karate's kind of the Dane Cook of martial arts. And what you really want to learn is Krav Maga. I mean, personally, I learned Kenjutsu myself, but I don't know, I've always heard karate's kind of lame. It's functional for trying to defend yourself, I suppose, but that's about the extent of it as I understand. 2 turn attacks. They're the pride and joy of anything that gets paralyzed or can miss. I mean, on the bright side, it's really, really hard to get hit when you use fly, but you then have to try and hit them on the second turn. Is it just me, or is his right eye, like, blind? Like, the pupil's just white. It's either that or he's winking with his right eye. I can't really tell. Weird. I've never noticed that before, either. Take that black belt. Now, I believe you can actually go through a shortcut if you do this. But, again, we're going to try and fight everyone, because delicious, delicious experience. I think this is the first time we've ever seen the Cool Trainer sprite. I kind of forgot it was even in this game. Horn Attack. I invented Horn Attack, and then got rid of it very, very late in the game because it wasn't that good an attack. Oh, that one could be a bit of a problem. It's one of those multi-turn attacks. Oh. This is not looking good. I mean, if you can hit him with that next turn... Yeah! That's how we roll. Nidoking. We'll swap out. I just want to give some experience to him. Let's go with... I really want to use Bryant, but Saitama needs the experience. If I recall, Thrash is a turn that takes place over... Is a move that takes place over, like, 5 turns, but leaves you confused. I should have used the Ice Punch. Ice Punch. Freeze him. Please, that would be the greatest thing. Ooh. Aw. Let's see if Zephyr's got the speed. I don't think he does. Nope. Ah. Okay. Well, might as well go with the matchup. The Dream mashup. Hit him with Ice Beam. That Ice Punch was really good. I should have just started with that. I went with Fire Punch. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, you were beaten. And the other 7 ones. Yours is just the hardest one. And the one that has the mandatory flag that says, yep, you got all the badges. Even if you only have 1, theoretically, if you trick the game into that. That entire route was pointless. I'm gonna go heal. But, yeah, so Pokemon Let's Go. No wild Pokemon battles. You can catch them, but can't actually fight them. Also, it's played with 1 Joy-Con, and the second Joy-Con can be given to another player to play as a player 2, but you could just use your other hand, or your feet, or your mouth, or, I mean, if you're one of those people, your tail. Basically, the whole second player mechanic doesn't really make sense. I mean, from what I can tell, it looks like it might make catching monsters easier if you time your Pokeball throws the same time, but that's about it. And this is all speculation, of course, but I don't know. This Let's Go Pokemon thing, it just seems weird to me. But again, I'm the kind of person who never actually got to enjoy Pokemon Go. Well, enjoy in quotes. I've heard a lot of bad things about it too, but karate, didn't we just discuss this? Karate is not as good as you people make it out to be. Obviously. Again, his right eye looks like it's lacking a pupil or he's winking. It's hard to tell, but weird. Also, his head looks kind of vaguely like a frog. I've also not noticed that until this very moment. I've never really bothered with Machoke, though. It's one of those monsters you have to train to evolve the final time, and I just never had anyone to trade with. Well, until I got my Game Boy Advance and also my other Pokemon, my Pokemon Blue game. It's weird you have a Machop following a Machoke. That seems like the opposite way of doing that. Done. Also, I'm pointing out, this is supposed to be an Earth gym. Or ground. Why are we fighting fighting types? I mean, I don't mind. At least it keeps it interesting, but not really having all that much of a problem here. And again, as I mentioned, Zephyr's kind of my weak link at this point. But that's because all my other monsters have like an awesome array of completely different element attacks. Leer. Okay, fine. Quick attack. Because even now, quick attack is amazing. It's really bloody situational, but it can be pretty amazing. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm at the final step there to get to the Pokemon League. And you certainly didn't stop me. Guess we go this way now. Kind of weird there's an item in this gym. I don't think any other gym had an item just kicking about. Let's find out what that is. Hey, it revived. That's actually very useful. Not as useful as, say, a max revive, but still, not a bad little thing to pick up. Rhyhorn. I guess we will Ice Punch. Just because. And again, Ice Punch seems to be doing a lot more than I give it credit for. It's a hell of a lot more useful than Fire Punch seems to be. And I mean, this monster is 4 levels above Saitama. Yeah, you lost your grip. Not really. I stopped by the Pokemon Center a minute ago. I can go back this very moment if I wanted. And you only have 2 monsters, so I'm not scared. That said, I would like to give Saitama as much experience as I possibly can. Oh, that's less than ideal. Ice Punch. Yeah, there we go. I wish I could make Frozen a more constant effect, but there doesn't seem to be a way to actually do that. Next, Dugtrio. You can run into these in the wild. They've got like a, I want to say 1% chance. I was going to say 5. I think it's 1 though. And they only show up in the Diglett Cave, of course. I don't like this. I think Saitama's going to get knocked out. I don't like this, so we're going to swap to Zephyr. Just to get the experience at this point. X attack, that's very gutsy. The question is, are you going to hit me with Earthquake? Because I don't think that's going to be all that useful to you. Just giving you a hint. That might do a fair bit much. Nah, that did not do a fair bit much. Thanks, Brain. But a crit that only did about 1/3 damage, and you X attacked twice. That's kind of pathetic. Alright. Yeah, you did. Heck, I could skip all you idiots. I just want the experience. Rage. That's a move like Thrash. I want to say. I don't normally use Rage, though. Okay. We'll use Ice Punch, because that just seems to be our go-to at this point. You know what we really need right now is Psychic Punch. I've never understood how people got Hitmontop. Like, I get the mechanics behind how that should work, but given the individual starting values and even having to calculate for EVs, it's just not something that's ever really made sense to me. Both before and after I learned about stuff like EVs. Gonna Ice Punch you. Low kick. That's gonna do some damage. Can we freeze you solid? Oh, that'll do it though. Crap. Zephyr can sweep. Let's use Quick Attack, that should do. Well, not quite, but I don't think Karate Chop's really all that deadly. That was a crit. Yeah, you're dead. Level 41. Guess we're gonna go heal up Saitama yet again. Just for the sake of, again, trying to level out my characters a bit. Although we are gonna have to deal with Victory Road soon, and that means we're gonna have to go with one less monster. Just because we need strength to do some stuff, if I recall. Again, I'm just working off memory, though, so I might be completely wrong about that, and I would absolutely be willing to be wrong about that. Alright, let's go fight these guys again. You know what I just remembered? If we were playing Pokemon Blue, all the environment would be blue instead of red. So this game was sort of doing the whole color thing before color was actually involved in this sort of thing. I think that was for the Super Game Boy. And I want to say Pokemon Yellow was entirely yellow. Or that one might have actually had some color change mechanics, I can't remember. I know Silver did. Even though it's been forever. I'm just gonna Ice Punch you. That seems to go well for me. Oop. That could be very, very bad if we get some crits in there. Hit 2 times, that's not that big a deal. You had me worried for nothing, Rhyhorn. You silly goose. There we go. Looks kind of like Brock's head stapled to something else. Dead end. And now we get to go fight the Pokemon gym leader who was out of here this entire time. It's Dracula. Also known as Giovanni, who was actually the gym leader of this place the whole time. And potentially all the people here were actually Team Rocket members or recruits, although they were stronger than every other Team Rocket member we've seen so far. Again, why does Giovanni only have 5 monsters? And I mean, they're strong, but you only have 5. And I mean, half my monsters know ice attacks, so I'm not really scared. That said, Horn Drill can take me out instantly, regardless of what my monster is, if it hits. But that's like a 3rd chance of it happening. Dugtrio, that's a little scary. Uh-oh. Huh, so using an item stalled its dig attack, I guess? I don't think I've ever seen that before. That's interesting. Now that's where Quick Attack would have been useful. And that's probably gonna kill me. Yep. You did well, Saitama. Alright, we'll go with... Loggy and Bryant are both, so... I guess we'll take the Earth dungeon with the Earth monster and hit him with things they're weak to. Because Ice Beam. Yeah, I'm not really worried about Dig, given that I'm that element. Or I think I am, anyway. Somehow I'm not Earth element, even though I should be. I guess I'm still just poison, maybe? Oh well, I've still got plenty of ice attacks. Nidoqueen. I got the better one. Although a Nidoqueen would be awesome, too. Also, Scratch Attack. Okay. That's a weird thing to have on your monster. I don't think I've ever seen that monster use that either. Nidoking. Okay, now we're getting into a proper fight. Again, just looks way cooler than Nidoqueen. Although Nidoqueen looks like you could hug her. This guy looks like he'd rip you in half if you tried. Wow. Tackle? I'm wildly underwhelmed with your monsters, Giovanni. I genuinely haven't seen half these attacks before. I think this is the only person who has Rhydon in the game. Should have used Earthquake on him. But, level 50, one hit, sit down. That's how it's done in the big city. The Earth badge. See, not ground badge, it's Earth. Yes, and now we get Fissure, which I believe 2 of his monsters have. And it's basically a one-hit kill move. So again, it's got a 30% chance of hitting, and it's Earth element, which means despite it being basically equivalent to Bryant's Horn Drill, it's kind of inferior. I mean, it would be more effective if you were attacking ghosts than, say, Horn Drill, because Horn Drill is, I want to say, a normal element, but comparatively, it's just going to be less effective against things. Like, if you're going up against flying attacks, flying monsters, Fissure's not going to do you any good, whereas Horn Drill still would. Again, assuming it hits, but it's one of those things you kind of have to put a lot of faith in to make sure it actually works. And that's the real trick about it, is it requires a lot of luck. But we have now... I'm sorry to say, I've got some bad news for you. Our gym membership has lapsed. We can no longer visit gyms without being charged another $100 fee for using it twice. Because you think that all the cute girls will dig you if you go to a gym. They won't, because they'll know that you're just a fraud. Also, it's Fafimon again. I'll point out we ran into Fafimon here earlier, too. And we haven't lost once to him. Let's hope that hasn't changed yet. At least he's got a full team of 6. Pidgeot. I don't have Thunder Punch. I just have Ice Punch, but we can use that. Now, Agility isn't going to do you any good since you're already faster than me. I could have used Static Cling, though. That would have probably been a better idea. But if we freeze him, that's not going to matter much. But again, that's kind of a random thing whether or not freeze status will happen. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's like the least likely to occur special ability. Or special ability status affliction. Okay, let's say take out a level 47 Pidgeot with a level 40 fighting type that should by all rights get smashed by it. Rhyhorn. Yes, I think we will use Laggy. Because rock type. And I believe we get stabs for Surf, on top of the damage he will take because he's weak to it. Although we could have used Blizzard too, it would have been equally as effective. You're done. Nice work, Laggy. Growlithe, a fire type. I will sit here with Logi, because Logi can take your fire type. You may have levels on me, but I have strategy and knowledge that you don't, Phaphimon. Although you do have a very diverse team. And depending on what starter you picked, Phathimon's team will actually change. So he will always have a balanced team. Like, if I chose a Bulbasaur, he would have a Charmander instead of a Growlithe for his fire type. But because I chose Charmander, he's got a Blastoise. So instead of having a, I want to say a Cloyster, I think he gets a Cloyster instead. He instead gets this. So he always has the same elements in a balanced team, but there's a bit more of a spread in certain cases. Like Exeggutor, of course, will have psychic abilities. Welcome to the one problem of Fire Blast. It's not exactly the most accurate attack ever. Solar Beam. He does have levels on me. That's a ridiculously powerful attack, too. That's like the ultimate grass attack, and... no. Fun fact, that is the symbol for fire, I believe, in Japanese, as well as, I want to say power? I always thought it was just a, like, stickman. And he's going to use Alakazam, which means Psychic type, which means Saitama shouldn't be thrown out there. But Logi might, or Zephyr might do well. So we'll take out his Alakazam with Zephyr. I think will be our plan. Round one will, ooh, Reflect. Nice. That's not going to hold anything against a Toxic attack, though. Now I just need to get out of your way. Now you've got Stab, and you've got, like, 10 levels on me, which makes that a really scary attack. And you've got Recover, I forgot about that. Yeah, I remember now. Psychic types have Recover in this game. Not so much anymore, but you'll notice that he took more damage from Poison that turn. And that's the magic of Toxic, because it does, what's the term? It does exponentially more damage each turn. So I could basically just sit here and stall my way to victory, because eventually the Poison would end up being a one-hit kill. And that's a move any monster in this game can learn. That's how great Toxic is. So now it's just a matter of stalling and hopefully not getting murdered by Alakazam. And we'll just finish it off with a good old Quick Attack, because that's gonna... yeah. Quick Attack. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's ridiculously useful. And now he's gonna use Blastoise, so we'll use the ever-increasingly, in my level of affection, Static Cling. I don't care if you have 12 levels on me, you're going to get electrocuted. Bite, that's a scary attack. Potentially. Now, I got Stab, and that's a decently damaging attack. And you're weak to it, but you've got a lot of health on me, and you've got Stab there, so that might take me out. Now I'll point out... oh, that was scary. Oh, I'm lucky that hit. And that's that fight. We still have not lost to Phaphimon, ever. But you'll notice, Phaphimon had a huge level jump compared to our previous opponent. And that's because Phathimon's a terrible Pokemon trainer, and in order to win, instead of strategy and a decent team, he needs to just power level. And that's a theme that will continue on from here. I want to point out his theme song played faster as he made his exit. Like he was running, scared, because we're just that great. Because we absolutely are. This is the Pokemon League. Yep. We can go on ahead because we have the Boulder Badge. We're not going to be able to make it very far, though. Now, what is interesting is you can pass here as you get more and more badges. It's not one checkpoint that says, oh, you have all the badges, okay, go. And if I recall, there's a few areas in here that you can actually run into monsters, too, which is kind of neat. Yeah, we have the Thunder Badge. Of course we have the Thunder Badge. Who do you think I am? some pleb who doesn't have the Thunder badge. I'll have you know I beat Phaphimon and every character before him. Now, you shouldn't be able to surf even if you have Rainbow Badge, so here would pretty much stop you. The thing is, we're gonna have to, I think we can fly from here. Whoops. That's not where I wanted to fly to. We're actually gonna have to fly back to Viridian to swap out my team a little. I did mention this a little bit, and it's unfortunate, but the fact is, where we need to go requires a few HMs. It needs Surf, and it needs Strength. I remember that. I think the rest are all optional, but Surf and Strength are needed, and you only need Flash for that one cave, and that should be it. Now, I will deposit Zephyr, because unfortunately, he's kind of the weak link here, and we will need, once again, to have our good pal Jiggle Jim come with us. Because, as shown before, Jiggle Jim can flash and blind people for style points, but also he has strength, and we need that. I know this. Don't treat me like a newbie. Give me some, you just defeated the final gym, and Phaphimon again. You are clearly the greatest trainer of all time speech. Don't tell me stuff I already know. Don't tell me stuff I knew well before I played this game. Because I've been playing this game for the past 20 goddamn years. And I'm just gonna make a bunch of sound. Because I'm getting really paranoid about, like, sound levels not properly working. Because I'm trying to do this on a different system than I'm normally doing, just to save a little bit of time. But it seems to be going well, and that's all that matters, because, you know, having lost an hour to not properly recording this would mean I'd have to do it over, and I don't want to. I'm already pressed for time as is, because I'm trying to double up my workload just so I can catch up. And probably will be for, like, the next month. But then after that, I'd like to do a few more Let's Plays and, like, stream some more stuff. But, you know, until then, it's just crunch. Not that that's a bad thing. Keeps me on my toes, I suppose, although it does wear me out, but I'm perpetually worn out. That's just sort of how I do things. What Pokemon is that supposed to be? Is that supposed to be Seal? You can only pass here if you have the Soul Badge. We are funky enough to pass this person. You can only pass here if you have the Marsh Badge. Yeah. Now, the secret is we don't actually have the Marsh Badge. I just stapled a Werther's Original to my chest, and they said that was good enough. Now, if I recall, you can catch Dittos here, and Venomoth. I think that's right. Huh, Ekans. Really low-level Ekans. That's not even worth the fight. Now, something like this, I could see why you'd get rid of Pokemon battles. Wild Pokemon battles if they're way too low-level, but... yes, that's the Volcano Badge. Now, what you might not pick up on right now is the music playing is both a mix of the evolution theme and the opening theme from the start of the game. And welcome to Victory Road, the final challenge on your way to the Pokemon League to prove that you are the very best, like no one ever was. And we'll continue here next week, where we challenge this final challenge before the final challenge. There's a few final challenges. Actually, I mean, like, the first final challenge was picking your starter Pokemon, which, of course, was Charmander if you're doing things a sensible way. Anyway, not the point. I'll see you next week while we challenge this dungeon, but until then, peace out, Internet.